Great time to realize that my stream deck just stopped working. Good evening and welcome down to Weather Down in Milltown. This is the captain experiencing a sudden technical difficulty. Haha, step by. Anyway, we'll hop right into it now that we got that out of the way. So nothing going on right now across the Milltown area, as you see. Good thing there, because that is likely to change here soon. So maybe some of those off and on little here and there snow flurries, maybe some freezing drizzle, some other things like that winter precip wise, but we'll talk about that. So hop on right into it. So live from Sunnyside, it is currently 27 degrees outside and on the downwards trend. Pressure 30.22 and pretty steady. Wind chill 25 right now, but that's because the wind is only about 2 miles an hour. It looks like we've been averaging about 5 today or so. So that's also gonna change. Going to be a little windier after. It's going to slack off for a little while on the wind, then it's going to pick back up a little bit. So again, we will get right all into that. Currently, 22 is the thinking for the low tonight. Same story across most of the Middle Tennessee area until you get up there towards the edge of the plateau around Jameson and Crossville up there in the higher elevations. Gonna be a little bit over freezing, so we make that is a little bit newer addition there to the forecast. Looks like we weren't gonna get all the way above freezing, but now it looks like that we do have a pretty good chance of that, maybe today and tomorrow both, before that winter weather gets here. Latest 48-hour loop of the HRRR model. Nothing going on, but again, you may see some of those wayward little blue blobs here and there sliding through, and I think that's just the model's way of letting us know that it probably thinks that there's going to be some of that frozen-y precip stuff out there, maybe again, freezing fog, freezing drizzle. So just keep an eye out for that when you're on the road, folks. Get my stream deck going back here while I'm talking to y'all. 1 second. There we go. Perfect. All right. Should have tested that first. My bad, folks. But again, as you see, not a whole lot doing there. So we'll get right on into the models. I know that's what everybody's here for. It's what everybody wants to see. So we'll hop right off on into that. So first up, we're going to be working off the 18 Zulu hour, unless I note otherwise here for a minute. So we already did the HRRR, so that's the short-term high-res model. Gives us about 48 hours out. So this is going to be starting Friday. So this, yeah, I've got this running through Friday. So this is what the GFS run 18Z thinks Friday will look like. So again, snow starting early. I've got it starting at midnight there, picking up maybe between 3 and 6 somewhere, and then continuing on pretty heavy there around noon, 3, 6, like for the afternoon trip home, and then tapering off maybe around midnight or so. Again, we think the travel impacts for tomorrow morning won't be near as bad as tomorrow afternoon's rush hour. That looks like that's going to be pretty gnarly, folks. So if you need to make alternate plans, go ahead and start thinking about that now. We'll talk about some other prep stuff that you can be doing as well here in just a minute. And again, that further scenario right there, again, would lead to this. So I've got it animated, kind of going a little bit slower here. 18Z GFS. These are the snow depths. So I'm not going to show you the scary stuff where it gives you the high, then the low, and then gives you the average. This is just what it thinks snow depth running will be with melting and this, that, and the other inside. And I think this one averages about 4 to 5, just depending on where you are in the Columbia, Murray County, Milltown area. Maybe areas a little bit to our south have a little bit more. So again, about 4 to 5 for the GFS model if what we just saw comes to pass. All right. Didn't get the other. We're going to go through some of these just still slides. I don't think I got any more animations just because I was trying to get everything together for you all. But that way, I mean, it's time stamped up there. You get the picture of kind of what the snow coverage should look like between those hours. So let that play its way through one little time here. Cool. All right, and then we'll go to icons. So again, all model projections. I'm thinking NWS is saying, and we'll get to this, about a pretty much, there's no certainties in meteorology, but about 100% chance that it's going to be about 2 inches or better. Some of the other probabilities are getting up into the half or better, and the like high 80% of more than likely could be more than 4 inches. But again, we'll get into that. So I think the 2.5, 3 inch is probably going to be a good like starting point to work from with this storm, because it does look like it is going to be a pretty decent winter storm as far as that goes. So GEFS model, again, this is kind of the brackets it gives you when they say, oh, it's going to be anywhere between this many and this many. This is kind of the basement and the max that it's thinking for this model run. So again, basement of about 1 inch, but maybe up to 6 inches with some of those pockets there, just depending on where that goes. Again, how everything lays is not an exact science, and how what we call like the 10-to-1 ratio are applied and things like that. And I've got some nifty slides ready for y'all and some nerdery for those everybody wants to stick around once I announce that, hey, I'm done talking about the pertinent stuff and this is all nerdery part. If you want to learn how some of this stuff works, got some stuff for you. We got some prep stuff. We got it all. So let's move it on. One of these are out of order. Which one is it? Yeah, so this one is the one out of order. Make sure I get that right. Yep. So this is the Mogreps model, 18Z hour again. So probabilities. I know everybody likes these. Seems like it's a nice, just cut and dry, good way to put it. This is what we think. So what this heat map is showing you here, and I've got some that are more zoomed in. This is just, you know, a regional wide view. But Murray County, Columbia, there is your 89 area, kind of like right there in the center of that pinky purple spot with the yellow goldie under it. So that's where we're working off of. And that's about an 89% chance that it's saying of 1 inch or snow or greater using that 10-to-1 ratio. So basically, 1 inch of rain under the normal precipitation scale would equal like 10 inches of snow. I think is how that works off the top of my head. So, and then again, same model, 56% on the edge of like some decent 60s, almost 70s there, for the probability of greater than 4 inches of snow for the Columbia Murray County area. Again, they're right there in the middle of the blue, pink, purple with the 56. So again, find that people like these. So just think of that whatever you will. Swapping over to the GEFS model, the ones that we just looked at a moment ago, 84% chance as far as that 1 inch or better goes. And then let's see. Where's here we go. Trying to keep all, because I've got like buku stuff here pulled up. I need a fourth monitor somehow. I never thought I would need so many screens in my life. 65% chance. So getting above, 50-50 here as far as the greater than 4 inches there. So I think it is a good likelihood. I'm not ready just quite yet because we're not in the range of my, my short range models that are high resolution and stuff like that to call it a probability, but it's a good likelihood that we could potentially see one of those 4 to 6 inch snows. It's gonna depend on where exactly everything falls and where everything lays, and those bands can like differ between neighborhoods. I'm telling you, it all depends on how it falls. So there's no way to know for certain. There's no way. 100% chance. Yeah, this is one of those, the EPS model. So one of the Euros, I think the initials always throw me off. Greater than 1 inch. So pretty much 100% chance everywhere in Middle Tennessee. You get snow, they get snow, we all get snow. Same model, greater than 4 inches. Again, 50-60% chance there. So getting better than the 50-50 half and half shot. So again, normally I know we're used to like the 50-50. We might get snow, we might not. This isn't looking like that. That's just what we're trying to convey to you folks. That's why we're doing these updates. Been watching this in a while, and it keeps trending towards that more and more. Luckily, the ice is staying to the south. Good news. So there is at least that, but this has been looking like this for a while, and that's why we pointed out with like the last system that came through, this is a whole lot more higher confidence than that. Overall, according to NWS, just from the people that I trust that are way smarter than me, the confidence is pretty high on this one as to this is going to happen. It's just a matter of just the exact, like I said, how everything lays, where exactly the low tracks, how it all ends up coming out in the ground truth of things, and then that's what's going to tell the tale with this winter storm. What is a winter storm, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. Actually, really, really more so glad than you asked, because I'm a nerd, and this is what I'd love to do, y'all. So, winter storm watch, winter storm warning. Remember, this is easy, folks. This is what I teach kindergartners. All it means, watch out. Watch means watch out. So watch out for what? A winter storm. Winter storm watch is issued when heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain is possible. Be prepared to adjust travel plans and do the smart things. What does the warning mean? It means a warning. It's happening right now. Either we see it on the radar or it's reported or we have good reason to believe it is happening right now. That's issued when heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain is expected. Usually they try to get these in advance, and more so the happening right now with like a tornado warning. But at that point, the travel will become dangerous and you need to delay or adjust travel plans until conditions is proved. So that is the time, obviously, for the action. The watch means be prepared. The warning part means at that point you need to take actions. What actions can you take? Nifty winter storm planning timeline here says a few days out, that's where we are right now. If the forecast calls for winter weather, start your prep. Have emergency supplies for your home and your car. If you got to have your blankie and your teddy and your heart medicine, make sure you got those things packed up, or a spare teddy or a couple of heart pills or whatever else, some blankets, flashlights, granola bars, road flares, cash for bribes, whatever else you got to have. Pack it in that bag. Make sure it's ready to go. Check your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors, especially if you have alternate sources of heating. Definitely make sure those are up to date. Whenever the clock changes, change your batteries. And then go ahead and replenish your fuel sources for your vehicle. Of course, that's going to suck because everybody's going to do that. And the prices will go up, I'm sure, unless they declare some TEMA stuff, which they may with this. And then freeze the prices, which that's always good. So make sure you do that, especially, again, if you have those alternate heating sources. Go ahead and call the propane guy. So day before, so by Thursday night, Thursday evening, Thursday dark, these are all of the things that you need to have figured out. Again, forecast accuracy continues improving at that point because we're in range of the shorter resolution or the high resolution, shorter range models. You need to adjust your plans, have that figured out, get the babysitter, make some school plans if they decide to cancel it, the day before or at 5 o'clock in the morning the day of, who knows. Have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings and advisories. Most definitely. Cell phones, broadcast media, radio, internet, no other radio. Best money you'll ever spend. We try to pass on those as we get them, but definitely have multiple ways. And then obviously the 4 Ps. So worry about your pipes, worry about your people and your plants, and then your pets. Make sure you have them indoors, make sure they've got water that's not frozen, all of that fun stuff. So I got older folks, check on them, make sure their stuff's working. If they got those alternate heat sources, again, make sure they got plenty of wood chopped up, plenty of fuel, plenty of whatever. The during and after. So there are a lot of these. We're going to go through a couple of more of these. This is getting into the preppy part. Again, if y'all don't want this part, go ahead and check out. Catch you on the backside. Go ahead and watch the replay, whichever y'all want to do. Peace. I'll get in the comment section with you later. Remain vigilant and stay informed during, especially. Not expecting like any high wind, crazy visibility blizzard stuff, but again, it is looking to be a decent amount of snow, if not a moderate amount of snow. We've made some discussions, and I think we'll have to convene like the fast food council of Ronald McDonald, Colonel Sanders, and the others to and IHOP to discuss the French Toast Index and see what the word is there. But like I said earlier, I anticipate that we could potentially see a category 3 French Toast Index. We'll get into that too. If you missed my post earlier, you're slipping, but I got you. We'll go back over it. Similar to the Waffle House Index, but mainly in the South. And again, so what are those things? Blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories. So winter weather advisory, it's kind of on the right end of the scale here, moving left. So potentially dangerous winter weather is expected within the next 12 to 36 hours or is occurring. Travel difficulties are expected. So again, that's kind of the lower end of the scale. You need to be aware of that. Winter storm warning. Again, this means it's happening. So from what I understand, the National Weather Service office in Nashville is eyeing seriously a winter storm watch because the snowfall forecast totals are meeting the definitions for that winter storm, which we can go over as well because I got that too. Y'all know I got it. And therefore, within the next however long period, with I've got the watch somewhere else. I'll have to look at it. But this one's 12 to 36 hours. The weather is expected, or it is occurring. Considerable travel problems are expected. And again, not going to have to worry about a blizzard in Tennessee. Don't think so, at least not anytime soon. But that's like all of the above, plus wind, plus ice, plus like bad things. So shouldn't have to worry about that, I don't think. So let me grab these other ones, because I've literally got so many that I ran out of room on my little preset scenes, and I've got to load these in one by one. So just hold with me there. Again, after the storm kind of thing. So if we lose power, again, we're not expecting it with the no ice thing, but if we do lose power after the storm, be careful with alternate heat sources, especially if you have alternate heat sources. Candles, space heaters, make sure, again, fire risks, surge protectors, all that fun stuff, wear layers, all that fun stuff, place towels in cracks, keep doors closed, all good practices. Jenny's got one of these. I'm going to go out and cycle check mine and make sure everything's good with all the fluids, top everything off, make sure it's in ship shape, let it run for a little while later on tonight. Make sure you've got those at least 20 feet away from any kind of inlets, so doors, windows, garages, fresh air inlets, whatever. And then make sure you check on your neighbors, especially old folks, shut-in folks like that. Make sure we're taking care of everybody. Tag everybody like y'all always do in the comments. Y'all do great at that with taking care of each other. I love it. Love it. Staying warm. Again, if the power is out, close your blinds, curtains, keep in some heat. If the sun is out, you can kind of, play with that a little bit and see what you can do. Close off unused rooms, hang blankets with some thumbtacks, whatever else, shower curtains, close those off. Conserve your warm air in one space. Same as outside, wear layers, lightweight, loose fitting stuff, warm stuff, drink warm stuff if you can, hot coffee, hot tea, avoid caffeine and alcohol. That's what it says. I mean, I know, stressful situation, kids are at home, I get it, gonna need one of the two, possibly both, but it's in the rules, folks, so I gotta say it. And again, stuff, towels, rags, whichever they're under your doors, caulk them up, or some other type similar solution. Make sure none of that warm goodness gets out if you can. Let's see, what else are we going to talk about? Yes, the pets, the 4 Ps, the people and the pipes and the plants, but also the pets. Even with the natural fur coat, winter can be deadly for your pets. I know the temptation. I feel you. Got one of those winter type dogs. I have to drag my German Shepherd inside, drag him whenever it's snowing. He loves the snow. But again, make them take breaks, just like the kiddos. Got to come in, warm them up, dry them up, get you a towel, dry them off or whatever. Make sure their water's not frozen up, and all that fun stuff. And keep an eye on their paws. Paw pads, you'd be surprised. Heat and cold can get to them really quick. And they'll keep playing because they don't care. Frostbite and all. Let's play, Dad or Mom. So I get it. I got one. There's the Drive E stuff, but I ain't trying to be preachy to y'all. There's the NOAA and NWS puts out like a billion of these slides, and I've got them for when we go and do like school talks and TED talks and stuff like that, where we can be preachy, but I'm not trying to be preachy at y'all. The snow ratio, that is one that we talked about. So this is getting into the nerdery part. So snow ratio, again, check me in the comment section, folks, if the nerdery ain't for y'all. Peace, no offense taken. The 10-to-1 ratio, Kuchera ratio, the different things we were talking about earlier. So this is what that actually is, and some of the things that kind of go into how it actually falls and how it lays, like we were talking about a minute ago. So old rule of thumb, again, 10 inches of snow would be 1 inch of water. So you can think in these crazy rainstorms that if we see 3 inches of rain in one day, if we lived up north and we're not all subtropical and stuff, that's, 30 inches of snow. Holy God, 2.5 feet. So that would shut down everything down here for like a month. So, again, though, the ratios dramatically, just from event to event, from street to street, house, like neighborhood to neighborhood in some cases. If it comes in like a big swathy band, that may not follow county lines. It just does what it wants to. And you may have, remember the Valentine's Day event of 04, I think, 04. it was like 80 degrees a couple days before, and then bang, got cold, snowed, and Columbia got almost like 8, 9, 10 inches, I think, and then Spring Hill got a dusting. And that's just how it goes. That we were in the middle of that big heavy band. So depth of the warm layer from the surface into the snow producing cloud, that's something we've been dealing with. We talked about the warm layers, melting layers, and things like that in relation to cold air and how it interacts with the atmosphere and how that's different from ground versus 500 feet versus 5,000 feet. The amount of ice in the snow, so like how much moisture it is, if it's that nice, like snowball snow that's dry, or if it's the clumpy wet flakes that look like $half that are so pretty that we normally get. It just depends. So again, if it's windy, it can blow it around, so there could be drifts, especially if it's dry. Snowflakes can be a different structure. And how cold it is, because normally we get cold air coming down from Canada or from normally basically from Canada, and we get some kind of moisture coming in from like around Mexico or the Gulf or somewhere around there, and that can kind of mess things up, and that's why we tend to start getting ice with our snow and things like that, and that's kind of what throws the wrench in the plan. So yeah, here's that. That's what makes the difference in between your different precip types. So you got snow, sleet, freezing, rain, and rain. Okay, rain never freezes. It may be really, really high, and it's freezing up there, at 37,000 feet, wherever your plane's flying when you're on vacation. But once it gets into the atmosphere, it melts and just stays liquid rain, right? So freezing rain, it's got that different layer. So warm air near the ground, maybe, and then a layer of cold under that, so the ground may actually be freezing already, but there's that mixture of warm air in there. It starts off its life as frozen precip, falls through that warm layer, melts, and then freezes on contact, or shortly thereafter is freezing rain, or like freezing drizzle, that mist that we had going on the other day. It's basically a cloud that gets frozen enough that it can't support its weight anymore, and it's like frozen fog. So, and I'm hearing these big monies too. I'm going to get y'all too. I promise. Sleet, same thing, but a lesser of a warmer layer. So it has enough time to come out as frozen precip, melt slightly, which is why it usually has that round shape like hail, little balls or pellets, grapple, things like that. When it's fluffy, it's called grapple. But the little ice droplets then freeze again because you have a deeper layer of cold air near the ground, and it comes down as a more solid type of precip. And then obviously snow never melts. It just starts and ends its life as frozen precip. So that is kind of how the melting layer works, and what it does, basically, without getting into the real deep nerdery of all of that and pulling out soundings and talking about all that fun stuff. But I did show y'all, I think, the last video, or I shared it on the page, of the like the vertical view of all of that, of what it actually looks like in the atmosphere, and it's pretty neat. Yeah, I think most of the rest of this is driving and general cold weather stuff. I know y'all are big. So, all right. We'll do some quick, more model stuff and just talk about the different runs, how things have been trending, and all that other fun stuff. But again, this getting into the nerdery part, so I'll go back over all the basics real quick for everybody. If you're just joining us, what's up? How you doing? Again, not much going on out there in the Middle Tennessee area right now, and Columbia on down there to the street level. Nothing shaking, which is a good thing. But again, don't get used to it. We got some pretty decent weather coming on in later on in this week, and it's definitely something you need to be aware of and need to know about. So currently live from Sunnyside, it's 26 degrees, dew point about 20, pressure 20 or 30.23, wind north out of the 7 right now, so it is driving that wind chill down to a bitter 18 degrees right now, as you see. Well, kind of live updates obviously as I'm talking, of course, back up to 21. So, but it's gonna be a pretty chill one with the wind chills. Overnight about 22 degrees for most of the mid-20s around the mid-state area, and then tomorrow going to get a little bit above freezing, maybe Thursday as well, but then again those lows are going to be pretty chilly. You see some May like some of the little blue blobs coming through here and there waywardly, like right there. I think that's the model's way of working out, saying that we may see some flurries, we may see some of that grapple or ice pellets falling, we may see some more freezing drizzle or fog, and that's just kind of its way of dealing with it all. But of course, the big thing everybody wants to talk about here, starting about midnight, 3 a.m., Friday, we may start seeing some decent snow start working its way into the area. That may is looking more and more likely at the moment. Forecast confidence is increasing. We're still going to see exactly when this happens. It could be, daylight a little bit after, but it could be ongoing as early as maybe, like between midnight and 3 a.m. So something to think about for your morning travels on the Friday, but it shouldn't be as big of a deal Friday morning as it will be Friday evening. As you see those deeper blues moving through here, it's going to dump some pretty good snow, maybe in the 4 to 5 inch plus territory. If you hang around, we'll talk about that again here in just a minute. But the good news is you see all the pink and purple there staying well to our south, and that's the ice. So good news there. Again, model projection of that same situation right now. Got it slowed down a little bit, starting here at 6, maybe seeing about a 1/4 inch of snow, moving up to almost an inch there about 9, and then by noon it's saying about an inch, 2 following about 3, and then about 3.5 by 6, and it's still steady, keeps on coming up to about 4 inches or so. I think that was one of those medium runs there to where it was saying between this and that, and a lot of them are averaging about 3 to 5. There are a couple of 2s out there, and there's some more than 5s out there. Again, that's the stuff we're about to talk about. If you want to see the full breakdown of all this stuff, again, go back and catch like the replay once it should post after a minute or two once I turn off the live. So and again, if you have any comments, go ahead and throw those in there. Same for everybody on YouTube. Appreciate you all joining us, and we will keep right on rolling. Let's see. We looked at that one, GFS. Okay, again, so yeah, going into just the stills now. So icon model about that 2 high, 2 3/4, 3 inch range or so. GEFS model and all these are the 18Z runs between that 1 and 6 area. This one's going, like high side 6, basement 1. NWS is all but sure, as meteorologically as one can be, essentially, that we'll get about at least an inch or 2 out of this. And then possibly about a 50-50 on getting more than 4. So again, same thing here with the heat map. This is just the 100% 0 to 100 base probability of seeing more than 1 inch of snow, and we're sitting at that high 80-90% chance. So pretty good, about as sure as you can get in the meteorological terms. The same model again, MOGREPS, 56-60% chance maybe, so 50-50 or better, maybe a little bit better than that, of seeing more than 4. So again, these are pretty interesting. Find everybody can understand these pretty easily, and it's just one of those good things to just kind of break everything down. Again, GEFS model, 80s, high mid 80s or so percentages there on seeing more than 1 inch. So same model again here, mid 60s, not quite 70% of seeing more than 4, so it likes the chances there a little bit. Not really even including any of the Canadian models with all this, because they've been completely wrong, because they're still actually showing a touch of ice, but I'm just refusing to even look in their direction just because they let me down so many times. So has nothing to do with not being the 51st state. I get that part. EPS model, so pretty much 100% chance of having more than 1 inch of snow. So it's pretty much saying take it to the bank. And again, pretty bullish as well too on the over 4. So high 50-60% chance there on the more than 4. And it's, don't get me wrong, folks, it's definitely, I'm not ready to call it out of the question yet. I don't think it's out of the question at all. It's, again, if you've been here the whole time, it's going to be clockwork or broken clock, but it's, or broken record, sorry. Still got that headache. It's not probable yet, I don't want to say, but it's definitely in the realm of possibility. I know the old timers and day one folks know I say that a lot, because that realm sometimes could be very big and be very narrow at times. But right now, the +4, 5, 6, maybe ballpark is definitely within reach. So again, we're just gonna have to see where everything lays, where everything falls, and how that part of things go as it's happening, as it's coming through Texas, what it's doing, you know, kind of on the third base home stretch down the line. Let's pop over, as promised here, to our handy dandy model viewer, and we'll do some screen share here. We'll go in and look at this. Again, I'm all working the controls, doing this live, thinking out loud. This is that part of the broadcast. So again, if this ain't you, peace. See you later. Catch me in the comments. Probability criteria, thank you. I would try not to look at the comments because I know it's probably going crazy, and I've been talking for a long time, and there's bajillions of comments and questions, but I'm going to get to it. But the probability criteria, so Boppy shared a very interesting thing with me. Let me send it to myself real quick, or airdrop it. But it's from the Weather Prediction Service, or the Weather Prediction Center, excuse me. It's kind of like the everything else version of the SPC that's not severe weather for the Weather Service. And it's a probability of exceeding the warning criteria. So as far as like accumulations, totals, wind, if it's a blizzard warning or this, that, or the other, whatever. And we're pretty much squarely in the 50% to 80% area, and most of Middle Tennessee is. So that was a very interesting little tidbit there. Let me see if I can... here we go, yeah. Winter Storm Outlook. Experimental. Let's swap y'all real quick and I'll show y'all what I'm looking at. Yeah, so right here. So I'll zoom us in and kind of get the there you go, so you can see the scale down here. So again, 50 to 80% chance, and pretty much all of Middle Tennessee is in that. So definitely interesting. So trying to see, yeah, let me get the combination weather service prediction center, probabilistic winter forecast, local national weather service, ice accumulation warning criteria. Okay, winter storm watch and warning making. Okay, so yeah, basically that's what I was thinking, and I just wanted to make sure I was reading into that correctly. That this is basically saying that we've got about a half or better chance to exceed the definition that we went ahead and talked about earlier of what the winter storm watch covers. Like, what is a winter storm? And that means like that 4 to 6 ballpark. So it's a 50 to 80% chance that we could exceed that snowfall, is what that's gathering, basically, unless I'm just radically wrong. If I am, yell at me in the comments or kick me in the shin or something. But it's pretty wild. So let's see, are my zeros done? I was still waiting on a couple to run earlier. Yep, NAM's done. Let's go ahead and look at the NAM. Right, Wednesday, Thursday. Ooh, interesting. They went there. I knew the NAM would do something NAMmy before it was over with. Yeah, it's looking like it's trying to throw a little curveball there, and it's got a little bit of rain, maybe. Again, the leading edge is always funny, because if this is showing on the radar, this may not be falling until it's like this, and it may be barely falling, so it's tricky. But again, about 3 to 6 a.m. time frame, though, it's saying should be seeing some precip Friday. Leading with maybe just a little bit of mix, but quickly being over with, and then carrying on through about midnight, or about 9 p.m. midnight area. So that's about what we've been looking at. Again, that's what we're calling continuity when we say that things are congealing and trying to converge together. They're all kind of suggesting the same thing around the same time. We'll look at the 10 to 1. Like I said, I just described it. I normally don't show it to y'all because it normally ends up being wrong. But yeah, so close to, just depending on where you live, and those little weird bubbles, these are always funny too. Maybe snow dome in action. 5 or 6 inches. So your Chero ratio, and I have to look that one up again. I don't remember exactly what the description of it is, but it's a similar ratio. The Master, the Man, the Legend, Bobby Boyd says for Nashville, actually, it's about 11-1, so we're running a little bit behind, I guess. I think he said our, we're year 2, we usually have too much water content, I think, or something like that, so. Again, snow depth is just normally what I show y'all, and kind of what we use as our medium there, so. Again, about 3 or 4 inches, 3.5, 4 inches. So, let's see if it throws any ice at us. No, but it does have it a little closer. Most everything I've seen has got everything else below the Tennessee state line. But it does have a little bit, interestingly, up just in the southern edge of Giles County. I know we have a lot of Giles County peeps down there. So maybe Canadians are still throwing some up like as high as almost the Murray County line, which is why we're not even talking about that. We're not discussing it. It's Canadians have been wrong on everything so far. So, RDPS, that's still on 18, so that's too old. I think that's NWS blend. This one's okay. Sometimes it tends to take the safe route. So, oh no, it's still running. Just kidding. Thought it was done. Yeah, no, the rest of that stuff's really good for snow. Here we got the NAM. Okay, yeah, the NAM 60 ton. That was the other one I was looking for. Okay, so recip. Here we go. Thursday, Friday. Here we go. So this one's again a lot more high resolution, a lot more detailed. It goes hour by hour, and it may, again, it's a NAM base, so it may favor just a little bit of mix there, but it doesn't look like much, if anything, that may amount to a snow shower. But unfortunately, this one ends right here. But what this does is this gives us a little bit more clarity towards when it may start. We've been hovering around the 3 to 6, but this is suggested we may just be starting to see the initial bands right around 6, because again, this one goes hour by hour. Back it up a little bit. 3. Yeah, some of the others are saying 12 to 3, and that's 4, 5, 6. So yeah, maybe so. We're not going to get any good totals off that one, though. Obviously, that one's only 60 hours out, and that's kind of, again, the thing here is they're waiting on those 60-hour, 48-hour models to come into play about 24 to 48 hours out, and that way we can really, really get a good look at what is going on with the high-res and see where maybe those patterns and those totals and everything lie. Yeah, I think that's most all of the newer stuff, folks. I don't want to rehash too much of the 18Z with y'all, waste y'all's precious time or anything like that. I've been posting a lot of stuff. Once the other stuff that hasn't rerun yet, once like a lot of the 18Z stuff goes and starts the next run, I'll update some of those if they're worth updating with y'all. And then I'll try to do an update, probably another one like this tomorrow night, probably the same time around there. And then again, a final one, just to put the icing on things, pun intended, on Thursday night, probably later. I want to kind of get as late as I can on that one, especially if everybody's going to be off work and off school. I got no reason to not watch, even if it's at 10 p.m. We may do a marathon session. We did it last time it snowed. I was up for like 2.5 days straight. It was weird, but it was fun. So we'll see. We're still in that we'll see point, but again, just to reiterate and encapsulate and top things off, the way things are looking, it does look a lot like we are going to see that significant winter storm event, you know, that somewhere between the neighborhood of, well, if y'all got to just nail me to something here, like 3 to 6, maybe, more likely probably 4 to 5. If we're being honest, I have to keep myself being honest with snow, because I'm a kid at heart. Still love the snow. I don't like the ice. Don't like that for y'all. Don't like that for anybody. But the snow, I still try not to get excited about it and remain objective as much as I can. But it's hard. Oh, it's hard. Giggity. But the rest of it, I try to just lead with pure objectivity. So but it's looking like it. So the models are all saying that this is going to happen. They're all pretty much starting to converge on the time frame again. That early Friday morning thing somewhere in that neighborhood of maybe as early as 12 to 3. Probably not that early. I'm thinking it's probably going to be more like that 3 to 6. So right at dawn, pre-dawn hour, and then continuing mostly on throughout the day. Maybe getting a little tapery on and off there at the back side of things, but probably continuing all the way through the day, into the afternoon, into the evening, probably tapering off about darkish or so, 6 to 9 p.m., maybe as late as midnight, but heavy at times, like lunch to rush hour to evening time. That dark 30 looks like it's going to be heavy at times. So if that is what pans out, that's definitely something you'll need to keep it mind, take that into account, alter your travel plans again, like we were talking earlier. Now's the time to figure all that stuff out and not have a panic thing when it gets here. You know, stock your car, put your emergency kit in there, pack your stuff in a bag if you need to, take some extra clothes to work, whatever you got to do. Check on your peeps though, for sure, your plants, your pipes, make sure you got all that stuff insulated, and definitely your pets, the fuzzy things in life. So other than that, folks, I think that's all I got. Y'all know I'll be in there and around and about, keeping y'all updated on the page. Again, if y'all got questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and get that in the comment section. I'll try to get to them as much as I can. I'm trying to get them to load back as far as I can, but it only gives me so many, y'all. I've got like the last 24 minutes worth. I think it says, yeah, so I've only got half of them, not even, so... I see Boppy in there trying to answer them. Appreciate that, Boppy. Yes, giggity. Hopefully Fox doesn't sue me.
Giggity.
There we go. The Storm Chaser mode is not activated yet, but I'm getting there. Like I said, I think I'm going to take us closer to the French Toast Index Cat 3 on this. I really think so. I'm starting to get that, you know, like day 3 outlook during severe weather season, and it's, you know, 3 or 4 days out, and it's hitting 45%, and that's we're not quite there yet, but if I still got this look on my face Thursday night, it's probably finna come a half blizzard. So we'll see though. I mean, again, there's no meteorological surety, but we didn't talk about the sit rep. Did they update it? Yeah, I think I shared the graphic to y'all earlier, I know, so I'll skip that part. But this is from NWS Nash. Medium to high confidence for 2 inches or greater during day Friday. Current forecast has most of the snow falling mid-morning Friday through Friday evening. Wednesday night we have very cold temps, overnight lows in the teens, possibly in single digits on the plateau. Key impacts expected to travel mid-morning through the day Friday, possibly into the day Saturday, it says. Some of those back roads and things like that, for sure. Main surface roads, interstates, things like that. TDOT in the city usually does pretty good. Secondary roads, you know, get them as they can, but those back roads are always going to be a problem. So definitely factor that in. Area of impact, all of Middle Tennessee. Timing, snow begin in the west Friday morning, spread eastward through the day. Peak snowfall time be mid-morning through the mid-evening Friday area wide. Again, because of the way it's kind of coming through, it's moving diagonally across Middle Tennessee. It's going to be pretty much all there all day. So confidence, there's medium to high confidence of 2 inches or greater snow accumulation. There's an increasing probability of higher snow reaching 4 inches or more, 50-50. That's what we talked about. Confidence high that precip will be snow with very low chances for freezing rain and sleet. So again, it's in there. It's the Canadians still, but and one of the other ones, I think Nam had that little bit in it a minute ago, but other than that, it's all snow. So that it is still that outlier out there, and that's what it's referring to, but it's looking like everything else literally says it will be all snow. So at least there's that. But again, confidence fairly high, medium to high. So it's what it sounds like from the NWS. All the professional folks with the degrees and the letters and the stuff, but again, been doing it a long time myself, so I try not to talk totals and get too crazy with things until things get closer. For that exact reason, don't want to get anybody worked up. Again, we reserve that right to say, hey, this is going to be bad. Very, very rarely. That when we do say it, people pay attention. So this ain't the bad part yet. We're not talking blizzard or anything else. But again, for people who hate snow, could be. But just to wrap up, again, because this is about all I got. I'll let y'all go very, very soon. 3 to 5 inches, not out of the question. More than 5, it's a possibility. So I'd say it's a almost. No, I can't use the word certainty because it's just against my methodological mind. But it's looking like it's more than likely going to do this between this time, because that's where all the models are meeting. So that's where we're at. Again, I'll keep y'all updated. Check out the page, make sure you follow multiple sources, broadcast media, internet, reputable people, not them clickbaity type people that are going to lie to you for money and stuff like that. Ain't us, never do it. Have no weather radio, stay tuned to those forecasts, check out the TV peeps, Weather Channel. Long story. They insulted a personal friend of ours, so boycotting the Weather Channel. Not that I watched them beforehand, since Greg Forbes, but that was the point. But the sources, the good ones, keep an eye on them. Make sure you got your plans. Go ahead and check out some of that prep stuff. You've got to rewind it, pause it. I've got all this stuff too that I'll be sharing with all the preachy stuff, because I'm not trying to do that to y'all, to the page with all the do this and do that and hypothermia starts at 95 and blah 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 blah. So again, be prepared. Y'all are big. Be weather aware. We're part of that. Stay tuned. Have a look at us. Tell your friends. Bring a buddy. Tag everybody. Again, y'all do a great job with all that and spreading the word. Helps us out with the algorithm. Helps keep people informed. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. That's all I got, folks. Again, this has been Yo Captain speaking. Thank you for tuning into Weather Down in Muletown, and we hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. Have a great rest of your day.